Welcome to the award-winning Brooklyn College News, covering New York City and your neighborhood.
Day laborers struggle to make a living and want a fair day's pay.
Visit a Flatbush barbershop, get a haircut, and good health tips too.
New York's new soccer team takes to the field at Yankee Stadium.
All that and more, starting now. Welcome to Brooklyn College News. I'm Linda Herrera.
And I'm Courtney Knuckles. One neighborhood wants to close down a liquor store. Another wants a sex shop to go away.
Communities fight back against businesses they think harm the quality of life. We have team coverage, starting with Tanera Teicher.
I've been in residence for like 15 years in Coney, and I think we have enough liquor stores around here.
Surf Wine and Liquor sits at the corner of Mermaid Avenue and 31st Street. Parents take their kids to PS 329 just around the corner.
It's bad for this community because of the children. It's not right to have so many liquor stores. We don't need them here.
The community points to 3 nearby liquor stores and asks why they need another. They started an online petition and posted on Facebook.
So I feel like they need to, instead of putting liquor stores, put better programming, put better funding into the community to help uplift the community.
I went into the liquor store, but the owner wouldn't talk on camera. He said, people have freedom of speech. They can say anything they want. Joseph Beldo, a community leader, also talked to the owner.
I was speaking to the guy in the liquor store. It was very, very sad that his ideal on it was, who cares, we're making money.
But the fact that it's a private business doesn't make it easier for local residents to deal with.
It's a lot of violence, it's a lot of programs been slashed in school and stuff like that, so I feel like a liquor store is taken away from the community instead of putting back into the community.
It's just important that we stand up for our children, because basically that's what this is about. It's for the future of the new generation.
A spokesman for City Councilman Mark Traeger told me he is aware of the community concern. He said the councilman will continue to monitor the situation. Tanera Teicher, Brooklyn College News.
Sex usually sells, but not here. This adult boutique in Flatlands turns off local residents in a big way.
I was stunned that something like that will happen in this neighborhood.
Some in the community feel the store has no place in a residential neighborhood near a library. They worry that kids see things that they shouldn't.
For this store to be here, I'm not knocking the business. It's just that this is not the right area to choose to put this business out.
This is a disgrace because it's a bad example for them. It's not giving a neighborhood appearance. It's giving an appearance of a 42nd Street for a community that does not deserve this.
Business owners, like this deli owner, agree with the parents.
I'm definitely not in favor of operation of this store because we have kids around the neighborhood all the time. Kids are curious about everything,
But we did talk to local people who say the business has a right to exist wherever.
I don't think it's like a big deal.
It's a business, they need to make a living. Like, everybody has their own ways to make money. It is a way of making money.
As of now, the business is still up and running, and after a meeting with local council members, the owners agreed to be more discreet in their advertising. Alyssa Andrews, Brooklyn College News.
In Midwood, a boarded-up, burned-out house reminds us all of a horrible fire. It took the lives of 7 children. Only the mom and a 14-year-old survived. The dad was away from home.
Adibukun Ediswan and Monique Jones say fire officials want to prevent another tragedy. They urge people to pay attention to fire safety.
Days after the fire in this Midwood home took the lives of 7 children, people came to mourn and wondered how it could happen and how the fire in this brick house could spread so quickly.
Breaking my heart that 7 children just died. Why? I'm asking why those things happen. They didn't just start their life yet.
The fire brought attention to the need for fire prevention in everyone's home.
This simple device, if it's hung on the ceiling, if it's placed properly, each year we talk about testing the battery. We announced the battery check earlier this year. If we utilize this simple device, we can change lives.
Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams told reporters he plans to send people door to door.
We're going to roll out a major initiative where we're using a campaign with simple information of showing individuals proper way of fire safety.
Some Midwood residents say they understand the need for working smoke detectors.
I have it hooked up to my central station alarm system, plus I have one on every floor in my house.
The fire department says to follow these simple rules.
The most important thing is a working smoke alarm.
You have to have one on every level. If it's a private home, if it's an apartment, one smoke and one carbon monoxide is fine, but in a house, one on every level.
It's a tragedy that's gone global, and hopefully people across the United States will start taking fire safety seriously.
Fire officials tell us they hope people will be more aware and make an extra effort about fire safety. To find more information on fire safety tips, you can visit SBNIfoundation.org. This is Aniba Kuna Dosamwan, Brooklyn College News.
Every year, traffic accidents injure nearly 4,000 people. Mayor de Blasio wants to change that. Dominique Rollins says the city created traffic patterns to give pedestrians safer streets.
Cars, trucks, pedestrians, bikers, and runners all meet at the intersection of 6th Avenue and Houston Street. And it's potentially dangerous.
They were getting hit. And we had several people died. And several other people got seriously injured.
That's why the City Department of Transportation changed the traffic pattern here. They gave people more time to cross the street and added 4 pedestrian islands where people can stop.
I don't know. I just think, they added, it feels like they added something, but I'm not sure what it was.
250 people died in traffic accidents last year. And at recent news conference, police and the Department of Transportation said motorists and pedestrians need to pay more attention.
It really comes down to everyone taking responsibility for their own.
The city changed traffic patterns in 62 intersections in Manhattan as part of Mayor de Blasio's Vision Zero plan to cut fatalities.
I'm a big biker, and so I guess I'd love to measure when the weather thaws if there's the same improvements will be seen for cycling traffic.
Reporting from our safer intersection of Houston Street, I'm Dominique Rollins, Brooklyn College News.
Consumers who had trouble getting mistakes off their credit reports may find it easier to fix the problem. Dennis Ureña investigates.
New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman announced the results of a deal he made with Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, the top companies that keep track of how you pay your bills. They list all the information on your credit report.
Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion maintain credit information on approximately 200 million consumers across the United States.
What's on your credit report affects everything you do. You need good credit to buy a home, to rent an apartment, to repair damages, to buy a car, and employers check when you apply for a job. Schneiderman sued the companies on behalf of consumers because he said many people had trouble getting mistakes and errors taken off of their credit report. To end the lawsuit, the credit bureaus agreed to a few things. Credit bureaus agreed to make it easier to dispute errors, will wait 180 days to list medical debt, and they won't list parking violations.
The reporting agencies have also agreed to assemble and assign specialized teams with the expertise and discretion to investigate and resolve much more complex consumer problems.
Complex problems include identity theft, Social Security fraud, and mix-up of identities. From now on, you should have an easier time setting things straight with a credit bureau. If you don't, the Attorney General's office wants to hear from you. You can go to www.ag.newyork.gov. This is Dennis Ureña, Brooklyn College News.
Young women at Erasmus Hall High School say don't judge us by that vicious girl fight. Mariah Stevens and Ashley Swartz went back to Erasmus and talked to students who say things changed after the fight in McDonald's.
Erasmus Hall High School students look calm, orderly, and happy when they leave at the end of the day.
I wouldn't technically call us savages because we're not savages. We're very smart, educated, and motivated children. And a lot of us are going places.
The students feel misrepresented by headlines like this one in the Daily News. The story responded to the viral video of Erasmus High girls beating up one of their own.
Those girls are separate. The rest of us, we're about our schoolwork, getting out of here, graduating, and becoming successful women.
We went to the school because we wanted to find out what kids think. We learned the campus houses 4 schools. The science-oriented school boasts a 95% graduation rate. The service learning school, 75%. The remaining 2 struggle. Christina, an 11th grader, and Cherise, a 10th grader, say they avoid violence.
No, don't fight. Don't fight. No fighting. Fighting is petty. It's not for, if you want to be a young lady, young ladies don't. Self-defense wise. Yes. Anything else, it's blatantly stupid.
They also tell us they feel safe in school despite outbursts like this.
We have security, we have police officers up and down the halls. We have deans and stuff all around the halls during class periods.
Students who excel at Erasmus get rewarded, and that's an incentive.
It's mainly a school for opportunities. We do trips a lot for students who are on honor roll, so they can go on trips and see the colleges. Once they see, like, okay, it's like I'm making bad grades, they try and bump themselves up.
Christina and Cherise plan to use all the school's resources.
I want to like do something in law enforcement because it's like something different for women, and it's not many women that's in that.
I want to pursue my dream and become a fashion designer.
At a recent school assembly, the students tell us that they learned all of the girls involved in the fight, including the victim, were expelled. The school also banned them from appearing within 2 miles of the campus. Reporting from Flatbush, I'm Mariah Stevens with Ashley Schwartz, Brooklyn College News.
Up next, a video game company gets its start from a Bronx incubator.
Stay with us.
Some people dream about creating video games, and some people get to do it. Messiah Sterlings takes us to the Bronx to meet the next generation of game innovators.
As I met more and more youth, they all were in game culture. They all really were immersed in it. They wanted to be in it. They wanted to work in it. So what I told them is start creating your own games, and you can create your own job, your own destiny.
Miguel Sanchez runs a digital graphics business out of a Bronx warehouse office. He invited a group of college students to work in this space to create their own video games.
It's mostly fun getting to make what I want to make and, well, have other people play my games.
Sergio and 4 others from Hostos Community College joined Miguel Sanchez at his digital graphic business, Mass Ideation. It operates out of the Sunshine Bronx Business Incubator at Hunts Point, a center set up with some state funding specifically for startups.
That's why I stopped it.
The young developers used inexpensive software and taught themselves to code.
When did this happen? Self-teaching myself, simple art just to get into my game. I want to make games for a living, so hopefully with other people that I've met that I've become friends with, we can start up our own company together.
Their games are based on simple themes they say most people can relate to, with obstacles and challenges that get faster and faster. In one game, players guide a lost pet through cliffs and spikes. In another, you get rewarded for speeding on an endless highway, but not without your laser gun.
Look at that. Right? Isn't first person so much better?
Miguel Sanchez's Mass Ideation website shows his graphic designs for big corporate clients, but he says inspiring young people to create their own business rewards him in a special way.
I wanted to impart on them that right now is the only time where you're going to be able to make your own ideas, and if you do it right and well, you can spend the rest of your life making your own ideas.
And the young developers appreciate Miguel's mentorship.
A lot of people want to get into the industry, and I did originally, but it was more like, how would I get a job at the industry? And it never really occurred to me that I could just make my own job.
And Miguel Sanchez says he hopes to form a company with the young game developers in the near future. Reporter from Hunts Point in the Bronx, Messiah Sterling, Brooklyn College News.
When you go to a beauty salon or a barbershop in Brooklyn, you may get something extra. A new program trained beauticians and barbers to talk to people about their health. Nally Friedman investigates.
Anything could stress you out. Because you got to remember, kids stress you out too.
Money stress, the economic stress, and brings out health issues.
Stress and other health issues play a big part in the conversation at the FNS Barbershop in Flatbush.
Sometimes you don't know you have blood pressure until you go take the test. He said, yo, I saw my blood pressure at eye.
Frederick learned to talk about health from educators at the Downstate Medical Center. They want to reach black men over 50 who suffer from high blood pressure, cancer, and sexually transmitted diseases. Barber Frederick and the barbershop seems like a good place to reach them.
The knowledge, though, is not where it needs to be. Yeah. There's still a lot of knowledge gap that needs to be filled, and that is what we are trying to do.
Dr. Ruth Brown runs the Downstate Health Disparities Center.
If you think about work that we do, for example, in beauty salons and barbershops, when someone is 6 inches from your ear, they can deliver a life-saving message far better than I can do from my desk.
The health team trained over 40 beauticians and barbers like Frederick throughout Brooklyn.
Sometimes they come and give away food. They give away free blood pressure testing and give away condoms.
Doctors say that as people learn more about health issues, their own health will improve. Natalie Friedman, Brooklyn College News.
Nearly 1 million people live in rent-stabilized apartments in New York, and they worry about how long it will continue. Mayor de Blasio signed a law to protect these tenants, but the law is only temporary. Over 1 million New Yorkers live in rent-stabilized apartments. Erna Figueroa invited us into her East Flatbush apartment.
I've been here for 37 years. I've raised 2 children, 2 grandchildren. This is what I call home.
Erna pays less than $1,000 a month for 2 bedrooms. And that's protected by a new bill signed by Mayor de Blasio to extend rent stabilization. Tenants came to the bill signing to share their story.
Within my community, there are many tenants that are being pushed out. I live in East Flatbush, and unfortunately, it's just come to a point where our communities are really allowing those tenants to lose power.
And Myrna doesn't want to be pushed out.
If the rent goes up, it wouldn't be good for us because we already living on month-to-month salaries, and we can't afford it. And we wouldn't want to be kicked out of our place.
Even though rent regulation is until 2018, Myrna is grateful that the bill was extended.
I think it's excellent that the mayor signed the bill because, you know, it's better for us low-income people that we could stay in our place and we don't have to move on no place else.
To find out more information about stabilized apartments, you can contact the New York State Division of Housing and Community Renewal at the number listed below. Courtney Knuckles, Brooklyn College News.
Day laborers wait on street corners for jobs, but often they get paid less than minimum wage. I talked to some workers about what they hope will happen in the future.
Day laborers wait on the corner of Ditmas and Coney Island Avenue in Brooklyn. Others wait outside a Home Depot in Hempstead, Long Island.
Aquí viene todos los días uno a probar suerte. Días los vamos a trabajar y días no, ¿me entiende? Pues como somos jornaleros.
Most come from Latin America and find it tough to get regular jobs.
Días le va bien a uno, días mal. Como hay veces ciertas personas, hay veces no pagan lo mismo o hay veces se basan a la cosa que a veces uno no tiene papeles, tal vez, pero tal vez no le pagan lo que adecuadamente puede ser.
Ligia Gualpa of the Workers' Justice Project says the city and state needs to pay more attention to the needs of hardworking people like these men.
Despite the fact that we have a progressive city, the city hasn't really recognized the value of low-wage immigrant workers, specifically day laborers who are building our city.
Workers that get jobs through the organization earn about $11 an hour. Much more than what they get on the street.
Ha cambiado mucho porque los sueldos ahora son más favorables para nosotros, porque tenemos los entrenamientos, el conocimiento.
Ligia thinks the city and state need to set up more employment centers to help this large group of people.
The city is being built and rebuilt by immigrant workers who are still facing issues such as wage theft, who most of the work it's being done non-union, which means are being paid poor wages.
Workers and advocates hope their cause gets more attention.
Up next, a children's orchestra wows audiences.
Stay with us. Cold weather couldn't keep the human polar bear crowd out of the frigid water, but this year's polar bear plunge took an unexpected twist. Dominique Rollins reports.
Flip-flops and bathing suits became essentials at the 11th annual Polar Plunge held at North Hempstead Beach Park. Dozens of Long Islanders braved the cold conditions, raising money to support Special Olympic athletes.
And the money being raised this afternoon is providing valuable funds for the dedicated athletes of the Special Olympics New York.
Each participant drummed up sponsors, and the money from the sponsor will go to the individual Special Olympian for a year. Each plunger tried to raise $400.
It's a cause. We actually get our friends to donate, and we put all their names in a hat. Whoever's name gets pulled out gets to choose the costumes.
Hempstead Harbor in Port Washington froze solid, so the plunge turned into the ultimate polar shower. The Port Washington Fire Department turned on their hose. Cold, wet, but fun, they say.
I feel great. I feel amazing.
Was it worth it? Oh yeah, definitely worth it.
It's absolutely worth it. I do it right now. I do it again.
And remember, they do something like this every year. Dominique Rollins, Brooklyn College News.
Our sports team, Carlos Montañez and Danielle Brooks, take us to Yankee Stadium and the courts here on Brooklyn campus. Carlos, Danielle?
Thanks, Linda and Courtney.
Danielle, I traveled to Yankee Stadium and fell in like with the new professional soccer team.
Boom!
Headbutting professional soccer in Yankee Stadium, that's the New York City Football Club wearing pale blue. Fans love to play against Sporting KC from Kansas City, Kansas. The New York team is brand new, 4 matches into the season, and the club managed to sell out Yankee Stadium.
So I'm glad they brought it to New York. You know, bring a little bit of the competition to the MLS also.
Snow started coming down in the middle of the first half. NYCFC began to struggle after KC scored a goal. By the second half, it was over. The final score was 1-0, KC the winner. Coach Jason Christ kept his game face on at the press conference.
There still are signs in every single game that I can walk away and say, we're going to be a good team.
And defender Chris Wingert thinks the team has a great future in New York.
It's snowing out and we still got that many people coming out to watch us. It's really impressive.
And outside the stadium, fans say that they're grateful to have a real New York team in the 5 boroughs.
I think it's great because nobody really wants to go out to New Jersey to watch the Red Bulls play, so it's a lot closer to home and easier to get to.
Meantime, right here on campus, the Brooklyn College men's tennis team and the women's softball team share one thing in common: they struggle. The men's tennis team is having a rough season so far, barely staying in the hunt for the playoffs. The Bulldogs' overall record is 5-8, and they're in 4th place in the CUNYAC division, entering the quarterfinals. Coach Adetella hopes the team can turn it around.
We just have to get back into the swing of things. We have to be competitive in practices. We have to go at each other a little bit harder. We have to be a little bit more aggressive with each other, and that way, hopefully it'll translate into matches.
The women's softball team made adjustments. The Bulldogs started off slow, but now just 2 games above 500 with 15 wins and 13 losses. The Bulldogs are in great shape entering the first round of the playoffs. That's it for sports. I'm Danielle Brooks.
And I'm Carlos Montañez. Back to you, Linda and Courtney.
Sports make a lot of people happy, and music and the arts do too. Here on the Brooklyn College campus, little kids get the chance to learn an instrument and more. Dennis Llorena reports.
Erica learns to play the cello by following her teacher. Erica and other students take regular classes at the Preparatory Center for the Performing Arts at Brooklyn College.
My favorite thing about it is that I get to be in a cool orchestra, and when you become advanced, you get to do a lot of cool stuff.
Isaac and the other students get individual lessons, and they also take group lessons. We saw 7 to 10-year-olds, but the program also teaches children as young as 3.
We have Suzuki study, we also have non-Suzuki study, we have group intro classes in piano, guitar and voice, we have a young children's chorus, we have various groups, chamber music groups, a string orchestra.
For the program to work, parents must get involved. They must take classes and come to the morning sessions.
I think it's very important that the parents are involved. Also, we can monitor how much work they do at home in terms of their practice, and we get to be accustomed with the sound.
The music training uses the Suzuki method, created by Dr. Shinichi Suzuki, who believe training works if parents, teachers, and students get involved.
Dr. Suzuki, who is a renowned Japanese violinist, who believe that children can learn language, they learn their mother tongue language, their native language, by the nurturing care that their parents give them. And consequently, he believed that that could also be applied to learning a musical instrument.
Kids can study here every day except Monday all year long. Prices for the classes range from $200 for chorus programs to over $2,000 for the Suzuki program, and students seem to get a lot out of what they learn. You can learn more about the Preparatory Center for the Performing Arts on the Brooklyn College website, brooklyn.cuny.edu. This is Dennis Llorena, Brooklyn College News.
That's it for Brooklyn College News. I'm Linda Herrera.
And I'm Courtney Knuckles. See you next time.